user story needs to do two things. There are many things that it has to do, but I like to focus on these two. When you're speaking with your stakeholders, you need to know, not just because it's head knowledge, but because you validated that it does those two things. One, it needs to drive value. There needs to be something valuable that user story is doing. Yeah, because the user story is an action when you think about it. A user story also needs to be able to clearly communicate the user. We know it needs to drive value. We also need to know who is the user that is going to be deriving this value. That's one of the reasons why you use your three-part format for user stories as a I want so that. You clearly say who the user is. You clearly let everybody know the action the user is going to be taking. You add the benefit, which is the value element to that user story with your so that. If a user story is not driving value for your stakeholders, then there's no need to have it there. When having those conversations with your stakeholders, be sure that you know and are speaking, or at least that user who's going to be eventually using that feature is part of the conversation, and you need to be very clear about the value they're going to be deriving. That value, of course, needs to align with the business goal in general, and we'll talk about that later. But remember, if there's no value, take it out. If you don't know the user and you haven't communicated with the user, you need to.